This video accompanies part 42 of the Digital DJ Tips Learn to DJ free email course. Now this course is sent to you one part a week for 50 weeks and you can sign up to it today starting with part 1 at digitaldjtips.com/join. It's completely free to join, so please do so because there's a lot more than just these videos in the course. But today's video is talking about how to make re-edits. And before we get onto it, let's just kind of define what a re-edit is. We're going to look at a bit of the software that you will want to use, the kinds of software you can use, and we're also going to look at why you want to do it. But what is a re-edit? Well, a re-edit is kind of a halfway house between what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, which was full-on production, getting into making music from scratch, and what we were talking about last week, which is kind of the a cappella, dropping a vocal over another track, which is really quick and easy to do. You can even experiment with doing that live. There's no pre-production, there's no pre-preparation necessarily with just using a cappellas. However, what's coming out of the speakers is something new. It's something that maybe no one's done before. So you are, in a sense, creating music. Well, re-edits are somewhere in the middle of that. This is where you're taking a track and making your own version of it, or you're taking more than one track and making something new. And the way you do that is by taking either the whole track or sections of the track and plonking them over sections or loops or the whole track of other tracks. So obviously the creative possibilities are pretty endless there. You could take the bass line from one track, find a place on the track where there's just the bass line playing, take that. You could take a really nice drum beat from another track. You could take all kinds of elements and then plonk them all together and start playing with them, letting the DJ software or whatever software you're using sync the beats for you so you're not worried about keeping everything in time. Instead, what you're worried about is finding the parts that you think work well together. Now, the exciting thing about this is that DJ software has moved towards doing this recently. You have Traktor 2.5 along with the Traktor F1 controller, which has a concept called remix decks, and they give you like decks, kind of like slots if you like, where you can slot in bits of tunes, loops that you found. You can actually take them as you find a loop, find a tune you like, loop a bit of it, just drag it onto a deck, and you can stack them up. So you can have like lots of drum bits, lots of synth bits, lots of vocally bits, and then you can start playing them over each other just using the Traktor 2.5 software and the F1 controller. So that's a lot of fun. But you can do it with other DJ software too. For instance, Serato has got sample decks, which only don't give you as many slots if you like to put samples in, but you can still put stuff in there and you can still loop them. Serato also has something called the Bridge, which links Serato Scratch Live to Ableton Live, which is kind of full-on production stroke performance music software. That's one to get stuck into if you're really into the idea of this, although there will be a steep learning curve and quite a bit of money there if that's the way you want to go. So far easier, just use the DJ software you've already got. Virtual DJ has sample decks, 12 of them, where you can just stick samples in, loop them, start playing them over each other. Now, if you remember from last week and the week before, in fact, we were talking about how you can't just play anything over anything. Now, when you're DJing, you can get away with kind of like, I'm going to play that next and then start playing that, because you can mix the very ends of the songs or just do a quick mix or whatever. But when you're playing stuff continually over other stuff in order to try and create something new, you need to be in harmonic key. You need to mix in key. Now, Sasha said recently that when he's auditioning samples for his music, he uses mixed in key in order to quickly take a whole load of samples, a whole load of things that he might want to use, and key them. And all that does is tell you what key they're in. So you can say, okay, these ones are going to go with these ones aren't going to go with these. Really easy way of doing it is to use mixed in key, although there's other software as well that will do it, like B-Tunes, Rapid Evolution 2, and Virtual DJ will even tell you the key of your music right there in the program. So no need to buy anything extra. But if you're going to get down these routes, make sure you have a way of keying your samples. And that just means working out the name of the musical key. Very simple. There's no alchemy there. There's no massive amount of musical theory to learn. You just need that extra column telling you the key so you know what's likely to work with something else. You also still need your ears. When you're doing all this stuff, you still need your ears. Just because mixed in key or some other software tells you something's in the right key, if it doesn't sound right, it doesn't matter. It's just words. It sounds rubbish, it sounds rubbish. And conversely, stuff can be in a different key and still sound good. So it's always worth remembering that these are tools, these aren't rules. These are there to help you, not to tell you what to do. These tell you what to do. Okay, so we've got a concept of the software. You can use your current DJ software, you can key stuff using Mixed-in-Key. We've got all that down. We now need to understand why go to the trouble, why do this? And I think that re-edits, mashups are one of the best ways of getting ahead as a DJ. I'll tell you why. People don't listen to mixtapes anymore. You go to a venue with a mixtape, they're not going to listen to it. They get mixtapes aplenty sent to them. Even in the old days, even I'm talking 10, 20 years ago, you were advised to do a little short mix, like 5 minutes, with all the individual mixes from your long mix on it, so that the DJ or the promoter could listen to how well you can mix two tunes together. So even back then they weren't listening to the whole mix, they were just checking you could do it by listening to the joins. Well, now we all know digital software means that you can mix stuff together really easily. So now there's not really any need to listen to the joins, if you like. A DJ has reached a certain level of competency when he can play in front of a crowd and people come to see him, and you need to prove those things. Now the way you prove those things is by getting gigs and getting people to like you, to sign up for stuff that you've got available, and to show their appreciation for you in somewhere that you can then show to a promoter. And you probably know what I'm getting at here. It's all online. Now the easiest way to get yourself a bit of a following online so that you can then show to someone, show to a promoter, show to other DJs who might be able to get you gigs, is to do a mashup or two. Take some current songs, mess around with them, do these mashups as I've described, put them on YouTube, just hang your video camera out your car and just film the night sky in your town, stick that on as your visual, get it up on YouTube, and then use Facebook to drive your mates at that page and get a few likes there, get a few thousand likes for your mashup. Now you can go to the promoter and say, look, here's a mashup I've done. You can see that thousands of people are getting into it. It's blowing up on YouTube. Why don't you book me while you can still afford me? And start hustling. We always say you should hustle. Well, this is how to do it. Nowadays, in the digital age, mashing up, re-editing, reinventing stuff, taking what's out there and spitting it back to people with a different twist on it, this is becoming what DJing is about. And if you're serious about being a DJ stroke artist, I think this is currently the easiest way into it. Now, it's not effort-free. It's a lot of effort to make a good mashup, but not as much effort as learning to produce overnight. And frankly, if you're just mixing records like everyone else, I don't think you're going to get your foot in the door nowadays. So there you go. There's a little bit about mashups and re-edits. In the accompanying materials for the course, there's loads of links. We've got some interviews and some technique information there as well. But thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in part 43.